dinner the other day.
Yeah,
So
you're
it's
welcome.
Very nice of you.
Glad you guys got to do it.
It was very nice of you, thank you.
All right, it's 2:05, let's call the meeting to order. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. Brockman.
Here.
Vandewater.
Here.
Zagorski.
Here.
Kaplan's here as well. All right, approval of the agenda. Hopefully I got everything that was reflected. Take a look. I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
I make the motion, we accept the agenda. Support.
Brockman, support by Zagorski, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Conflict of interest disclosure. Hearing none, we'll move on. Public comment on agenda items. Does anyone have any public comment on agenda items? Rory Mattson.
Want to just do it from the seat?
Sure.
Yeah, well, obviously, under
New business.
number,
New business.
this would be number 12, unfinished business, L, the joint-owned trailer.
Okay.
As I've stated before, I'm happy to go either direction. If you guys want it, I just need 2,000, and if you guys don't want it, I'm willing to pay the district 2,000 and the county 2,000. I did find a new, old one that the guy didn't sell in Wisconsin for $7,100. It's almost the exact same trailer. It's been sitting there on the lot for quite a while, so I kind of view if I'm gonna pay 4,000, anyway, I'm gonna have that money out there regardless. So if you guys don't want it, or if you guys want it and give me 2,000, then I'm at 6, so I only have $1,100. I can get almost identical new ones. So I'm happy either way, whatever you guys decide.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else for public comment? Public comment? Okay, thank you.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Is there a possibility on the agenda, Steve's kind of on a time restraint, can we move him up?
Yeah, he's under new
New
business.
business.
I can do that.
Personnel,
Yeah.
that work for you?
Okay, good. We could do that. Just remind me when we get there, Steve. Okay, any other public comment? Moving on, we need to approve 2 sets of minutes. One from our last regular meeting that was on December 13th, 2023, and then again on our special meeting that was held on December 29th, 2023 to discuss hiring or making an offer to Heather Leduc for district manager.
Do you wanna do them separately or do them both?
Oh, we could do them, I guess we could just do them both. Unless there's changes. If there are changes, we'll just do them separately.
I move that we accept the meeting minutes as stated. I second it.
Okay, is there any discussion? Comments on the hearing name? All those in favor of accepting the December 13th and the December 29th, 2023 meeting minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, thank you. Treasurer's report, Mr. Zagorski.
Alright, I'll give you all financials, it should be in front of you. No real changes, we were able to figure out, Chris was able to figure out getting into QuickBooks and getting some things changed over. So this is the product of that. And actually in good shape. And anybody have any questions? Nate had one about a fuel question, but
Popped up the road commission, and I was just curious on, and that was on the bills, but evidently that's where they purchase fuel for.
Yep, that's for the parks, they
Right,
deliver
so
fuel
that's
to the
it.
parks, so that's.
And then as of right now, there'll be nothing more coming through from the parks, right?
As far as paying bills?
Yeah,
Correct.
this is it.
This is it, and I think
Yeah.
that it's, yeah, and
Is-
I don't think we've received any bills for the park, so so far so good. Knock on wood. Yeah, this is all December.
it's, comes up to the end of the year.
Yep.
One question, where was the, did I miss it? I was looking for the check from the MSU to being deposited for the, wood splitter, or wood processing unit.
Good question, that.
I
that
didn't,
is-
I didn't, just going through this, I didn't see it listed.
yeah, it's-
Let's see, oh,
I think we're all looking here.
I think it's there, maybe 1227. Deposit First Bank.
20,150.
Yeah, there's
Yep, there it is.
20,158, so it's probably split from something else. Alright. Rory's giving us the head nod, so.
Yeah, the 20,000 is the wood splitter, and I think there was two other
There was
deposits, small ones that
two
made
small
up the rest.
deposits
Okay.
on that one.
Thanks for that.
Yep.
So that's it?
Gonna get easier from this day on. As far as this goes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I make the motion, we accept the treasury report as provided us.
Nate,
I'll second it.
Glenn, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Standing committee reports, personnel, and we're gonna, I'll let you, well, personnel, I guess that's us. Should we get right into, well, do you have anything for personnel before we turn it over to Steve?
The only thing we have personnel is that our new district manager has accepted the position.
Yep, I have that,
On,
I have that under B in new business.
do you really?
Yeah, I really do.
We do everything twice.
So we can talk about district manager under new business.
That's fine.
That's okay, give everybody the punchline.
Alright.
Alright, nothing else. Steve, you're on the agenda under new business. I have employee compensation while district parks manager. So this is something that Nate asked to add, and
Yeah.
we're all ears.
Okay, I'll probably be pretty brief with it. And I see Nate just about every day, he walks in the park all the time, and even kind of encouraged that maybe I at least come and chat with you guys. My employment from October, a year ago October, was with the Delta Conservation District and managing the county parks. And so before you guys took over in August, it was always said and stated that I had I went to hourly. But if there was any money made in the parks, if we made money, that there would be a $10,000 incentive pay, bonus, call it whatever you want. And if you look back in the history of probably the last 5 years, that's what always happened. We always kept making more money, more money, more money. We raised rates, and there's reasons for it, put more into the parks. So then what happened in, I don't know, February, first part of the year, district decided they didn't wanna manage the parks anymore. So basically, we were gonna be done
May 14, May 15. And whether that was gonna be a breach of contract, we would've had to work through that. So Rory and I sat down, and I was looking to go back into construction. You know, I'm not a meat tech, I'm not a C-type tech. And I think some of the county board were struggling with the fact that everybody's leaving, the time of the year, there's nobody there, nobody knows what's going on. And so Rory asked me, would you be willing to stay on till December 31st and help us finish the park season out? So I never even applied for the county park manager job even at that time. I went out and spent a large amount of money and bought a really nice telehandler, and I was just gonna start taking and start putting some jobs together, and that's how I was gonna finish my career out. And the district board has been really good to me, and Rory has been really good to me, you know, working for them there, and I felt the loyalty. 3 times I had an opportunity, twice to go and manage the fairgrounds and to work other employment, and I always chose to stay here, out of loyalty, and I loved what I did, and I felt I had some unfinished business to do. Anyway, long story short, I agreed to stay till the end of December. I felt it would give me enough time to stack up some projects and stuff like that and whatnot. And so then what ended up happening is the deadline passed for the park manager job, but I was getting, I won't mention names, but phone calls from a lot of people, even some within, and said, would you just at least put your resume in? And so I did. And it wasn't even a fancy resume. I just wasn't planning on staying. But through a long lengthy interview, they offered me the position, the job. And then I guess I accepted it, except for there was one part. They wanted somebody on, I think it was August, September. And I told them, if you need somebody in the next 2-3 weeks to get a 2-week notice, then I'm not your guy. And I said, you'll appreciate this, Corey, if I was working for you and I was going to work for the district, I gave Mr. Mattson my word. And my word means something. My word means more than a job itself. I'm gonna be fine, either way. So I would have to decline if that's the case, because I'm gonna honor what I told Rory. I'm not gonna paralyze him. So I said, but if you wanna think about the fact that we've got girls in the office yet, I can continue to maintain the parks. Rory's still here kind of as the manager, so to speak. If you can get by till the first of the year, then I would probably be interested. And the fiscal year always goes from October to October. So even my incentive pay would have ended in October. Don't even really care about from October to stay until the end of December. And then Ashley had kind of mentioned the fact that that might work, but we'll have another committee meeting and we'll see how that works. And she goes, and it would probably even be better for you because the district paid me considerably more than what the county is. I took a pretty good hit in pay. And plus you'll have your incentive pay coming. So that was all things that were said. Now I know that changing of the guard, so to speak, you know, you guys come in, you guys took over. So all I can say is I never had a contract. You know, I asked for one a couple of times, or even can we sign an agreement, and I never was able to do that. A little different type of an individual, that this money here that I feel is owed me is not gonna make any difference between now and the time I die. And the last thing that I'm gonna allow to have happen is my name be in the newspapers. I escape the politics side of things. I work with everybody. My allegiance is to the taxpayers of this county. That's who I really work for. And I just want you to know that I've always been a man of my word. If I said I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I did that. If this is something that for whatever reason you do not wanna pay, I'm gonna tell each one of you guys right now, there will be no hard feelings personally with any of yous. I respect the seats that you sit in. It's just kind of out of my control at this point. If the previous district board would have stayed in place, I would have definitely got it. And, I know Holly got incentive pay for helping what she did. And I think she was probably gone in May by the time, Camp Spot came on. She wasn't really at the office anymore after that. But I don't really care about anybody else, probably shouldn't even brought her name up. She's a great employee. She did a very good job helping us out the time that she spent there. So, just, even just talking with Nate, Nate's been a great friend also. I said, if this is absolutely gonna go nowhere, I'm not even gonna come, and he says, I think it'd be worth your while to at least talk to the board. And you guys can do whatever you want with the district money. You're not the county, you're not the state. I feel that we carried over a ton of money this last year. We probably had a record revenue every year for the last 5 years. So the idea that if we made money, that this would happen, and if you look back the last 5 years, it did, this is the year I come up short. But I don't let this stuff affect me or bother me. I'm a positive guy. I've got some really good things happening right now within the park system. The next time you walk into the office, you won't think you're in the same room. It's looking really nice. So, if you guys have any questions for me, this has got nothing to do with Rory Mattson at this time neither, because when you guys come on and took over, he doesn't really have any say. But, I think that he would, if he was asked, he would agree that that's probably what should be. Now, I did get paid out, I had carryover of hours, and I got paid out my vacation time, and that should actually be separate. But my comp time that I probably got last year, and I don't have that paper anymore, it would only be the difference between that and the 10. It wouldn't be a full 10. And so this is just something that, I feel it's owed. I think it would be the right thing to do, but if it doesn't, when I walk out of this door, it's done. And I'm gonna be just as happy as I try to be every day.
Can I ask you then, if you're asking, from 30,000 feet here,
Pardon?
from 30,000 feet, I'm looking at this, what kind of documentation was done within the parks, within the district to, is there something written down?
There was never anything written down. It was verbal with the board. And the only way that I can prove it, I did ask to have signed contract stuff, but it was always said, well, remember, if we don't have any money to carry over, we break even, you don't get nothing. But, and I worked hard to put in the power of the water, the things that are needed, and it's become a destination for people to really come anymore. The parks they're busy, they're hopping. And I feel that I played a huge part in putting the proper things that the park needed, getting the finances from the county having to pay a lot of money to having a pretty good windfall every year now, and did that over the last 13 years. The only thing that I can say that will prove for what I'm saying is true is just go back and just look at the last 3 or 4 years and see how my pay compensation was, and see what it totaled. That'll prove that they're not gonna just give me money to give me money. And it was all hinged on if we made money. And they just didn't have the say anymore because there's new leadership here now. And I from day one, even when Mary Harrington was on the board, I never really wanted incentive pay or bonus. I just wanted it to all just be a wage. And then there is no dispute. And especially when COVID came, I thought, wow, well, there's no way that's gonna happen. But we made enough money to pay our $18,000 back every year for 10 years and still had enough money. So if you were to take and look at that history, that'll show you what I'm saying is true. And
I'm not questioning you, first of all, but it should be reflected someplace, and I'm assuming it'd be reflected back in the meeting minutes, where at their district meetings, you talked about it, someone
Mhm.
talked about it, so it must have been, approved somehow.
all I can say is I don't take the minutes. A lot
Yeah.
of times, a lot of stuff don't make the minutes.
Exactly, and what we're talking about is you're talking about your comp time, I don't have a total handle on it, but it was 3,000, do you remember what?
Yeah, and then there was my vacation payout.
But the vacation pay was separate.
That
It
was- that
the-
should- that
the-
should
what-
be
What you're
separate.
looking at is the difference between the $10,000 incentive and the 3,000.
Minus that comp.
Minus comp time,
That's
which was
correct. I think that
3,000.
would only be fair.
You guys did that when you did that figures. Yeah, I can't pull it out either, I know
We
it was.
reviewed it, signed it, and.
3,200 or 3,700, I can't remember what it was, it was somewhere around
I think
37,
Mike's
but
fishing for it.
what, my understanding is that's what you're looking at is the difference in that, because it was an item that was, you had received in the past, it was promised to you at the beginning of the year, and as far as it is right now, all you've received is the comp pay, which is the 37, which is well short of the $10,000 total.
Who promised the incentive pay, or who indicated that would be a condition of your employment at
Well,
the end of the year if there was a
Rory was my
balance?
supervisor.
Okay, so
So,
Rory,
yeah, stated by Rory, and then, and the board agreed. It happened all of them
oh no,
years.
I know it happened every year,
So-
I'm just saying about like this year, so you had conversations specifically that.
And it was brought up and mentioned, my hiring on with the county, Ashley's the one that mentioned, well, we do wait till the first of the year, you'll actually make more money in that shortfall. Because, except for, the other thing I brought up, is that after 6 months, they were gonna give me an additional 5,000 in salary for the county. So I said, well, if I stay another 6 months and wait till the end of the year, then I've gotta start all over to, and she said, nope, we will count that if you come and take care of the parks for us. Because I think they were in panic mode. But,
So you're gonna be compensated $5,000 because you started early, so you.
that's only my new salary negotiation, which,
Right.
I took a hit of about 25 grand,
No,
so.
I understand how things have changed, yeah. Fortunately, that's not in our wheelhouse
That's
at
right.
all.
Well, my thought, and my personal opinion on the subject is, the district had promised Mr. Weary, in incentive of $10,000. He's received 3,000 something, whatever the odd difference is, and there's a difference, that I would be assuming that should be made up.
I think I understand, but it would be nice to back it up with someplace in a minute, someone said, gave
I mean,
approval.
yeah, I can tell you, I've looked at the minutes, and we could review the incentive bonus history, I think that's probably what.
That's probably, a supervisor of Gurley Township for 32 years. The clerk they take minutes, they do a lot of shorthand, you don't put everything in that's always in there, but I do instruct them, or I advise them, anything that we talk about in a certain subject, make note of it. And what you actually print up to put before the board the next meeting, you may not have to put as much, but in your notes, put more.
I appreciate that, yeah.
But, everybody runs business different, and I wasn't involved in that part of it. I didn't have anything to say about it, so I'm just coming here before you as an honest individual.
No, we appreciate it.
That if I say I'm gonna do something, my word is good, I can prove it by telling them, I can't be your park manager if you need me in 2 weeks. I know Rory appreciated that too, and I know Corey did, and they worked it out.
So did they, was that a scale then? Cause you said it kept making more money every year in the
Nope,
parks.
it was not a
It was just
scale.
It was just a.
It was at least 10,000.
Well, and that's the reason why, there was other, district employees that really weren't all park related, you know, got stuff too, and,
Mhm.
but, you know, I don't get into anybody else's business, I don't care how they acquired it, I don't care what happened. But I know that there's definitely a very strong paper trail of the last, even if you just go 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And you'll see what the history was, always hinged on whether the park made money. And I know that, the park has got a lot of carryover right now that we're working with projects. And I know the district is financially sound. Talking with Ashley about it, because Ashley feels bad about this too. And she goes, I know it, she says, but from a county standpoint, because of the 10% that was never negotiated prior, was this past year, maybe two, but maybe just this past year, your 40-some thousand that you got, Ashley, her stance is that that's where that money should come from.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
So-
Of course.
And I can tell you, our books are still open on that, it's also on our agenda, and what I would say, what I'd recommend is that we can go back and basically do a history of this, so
You know,
that.
I would respect it if you would at least do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Would you be happy if we, at this point, if we table this to research it, look at it, come back, and keep it on the agenda and bring it back up?
Yeah, we'll keep it
once
on
we
the
have-
agenda.
I'm gonna walk out of here today, just leaving it in your hands to do what
Okay.
you guys wanna do. I've got so much
No,
on my,
understand.
on my
Yeah.
plate to
Steve, no
get
one's
to.
no one here I can specifically,
Yeah.
it's a question your integrity. It's just that it'd be
Sure,
nice for us
sure.
to look into this a little
I
bit.
think you've given us enough to follow up on.
Yeah.
I fully understand that, and moving forward, you guys can run your minutes, your meetings, and you
Yeah.
guys are in charge and in control, and I
Yeah,
wasn't.
and we actually were, you know, while you were employed as well, so.
And I don't wanna speak for Nate neither, but, I talked to Nate a lot, and I think it's bothered him too, because he said, I think it's worthy for you to at least come and say something to the board.
Yeah.
Because there was a dead issue with me, like I say, between now and me dying, it isn't gonna make a difference in what I do in life, but it could go towards some of my charitable causes.
Understood, yeah, no, I mean.
And it reflects upon the board overall.
Yeah, so I'm totally happy with, keeping this on the agenda. We will follow up with basically what paper trail we have. We do have, we have work agreements, so, I mean, I think there's some things that we can pull from to take a look at this over an extended period of time to.
The money don't mean as much to me as my name and credibility in this county.
Well, you're gold,
I got
so
my
you're-
hands full.
yeah.
that-
You're
that
golden, Steve.
I'm not a
Yeah.
problem. I
We've
don't wanna
already-
cause any problems for
We've
anybody.
already established that, but, I appreciate it, I mean,
Yeah.
these are important,
Well, I
these are important
I
plans.
appreciate Nate chatting with me and say, just come to the meeting and we'll just air it out and.
Right.
So I'm just gonna leave it in your guys' hands and.
Yeah. The only thing I will add is you said, the county has to do it a certain way or the state has to do it a certain way.
Yeah.
We have to do it a certain way as well.
Sure.
Because, we
But
are.
everybody does it a little different.
I
you
understand,
know?
but we're a local unit of government organized under the Michigan
Sure.
Department of Agriculture, so, we have our MDARB representative, Rachel, so, she's here to listen and, there's plenty here to follow up, so we'll address it.
Well,
And-
she's a good girl, there's
Yeah,
a lot of
woman, yeah,
knowledge
so
right there. and
we'll keep it, yeah, we'll
Lean
keep
on her
it.
and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
But
we'll
the
keep it on
last
the
thing
agenda.
is I just wanna wish you guys the luck moving forward.
Same to you.
And any time that the parks or anything, any infiltration that we have together, or, if anything comes our way, we're here for you guys, and if there's things we need, we'll come and see you, and just wish you the best new year, and I'm gonna make it a positive one for as long as I'm here.
All right,
We
yeah.
got some exciting things going on, and
So are we.
so,
Okay, so
and I
do
wanna
we
wish
need to
Rory
make a
a
motion
happy
to table
retirement.
this, or just,
I don't think we need a motion, I think we just will.
Just
we
discuss
can-
it, talk
We can
about
put
it, do what
things,
you want.
we
Just,
can look
I
at it.
suppose we could commit to a timely manner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a personnel issue,
Yeah.
it's a record issue, it's a finance issue, so.
So take your time and do your
Yeah.
due diligence,
Yeah.
because I didn't have it last month, if I don't have it for 6 months, it ain't gonna matter, but it was just worth coming and just kinda maybe explaining the situation. There's so much stuff that grows legs out there too, you know, that nobody always understands how things really come about, and I think that a lot of times, which there's not a lot of places you can do it with anymore. Hannahville is one that you can give your word, do a handshake, Rory will agree with that.
Yeah.
I felt that I could do that with Rory also, and he with me. I always took care of my obligations and my commitments, even if it cost me money.
And that's what you feel you have here?
Yeah.
You were promised this, okay.
So,
Got
and
it.
like I say, if it don't happen, I'm gonna wake up happy and I'm gonna make the best of the day and,
Well, thank you for bringing it to our
Yep.
attention, because we're
Thank
not
you.
all aware of all these nuances. There's a lot of things moving,
sure.
and we're involved in different things, so.
It's gonna be a whole lot easier for you guys not having the parks now.
Understood.
And you can just really,
Duly noted.
yeah,
Roger that.
the parks are a big animal and the district is in itself also.
Oh, yes.
So I wish you guys a good tree sale coming up and I hope everything goes well for you guys.
All right, yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for bringing this to
Okay.
our attention.
Well,
Appreciate it.
I'm
Thanks for
really
your
on
time.
the county's clock too, and so
All right.
I'll stay
Oh,
over
excellent.
another half hour, but, put my time in.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
You guys all have a good new year.
All right, you
Good
too as
seeing you.
well.
Yep, thanks, Steve.
Yep, thank you.
Anything else on that?
Did we, and Rory can chime in on that. We made 2 payments just at the end of the year to Steve. They totaled, $57.91.72. I kinda remember a conversation, about Steve's, bonus. We're trying to come up with
Wasn't we
with a
never talked
name.
about a
It
bonus.
wasn't a there it is. What name do I call it?
Incentive.
Incentive. But, so there was some conversation at the time that we made those paychecks.
You had that conversation?
No, the conversation was, think about that for a minute.
You can ask Rory,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
your floor.
When we were doing our funny math, Rory, because sometimes I laugh. But we did write Steve a check, for $960.63. And it's a paycheck, everything is paycheck. And the second one with that was $4,831.09. Now, I think the 4,000 was overtime hours? Can you?
Yeah, cause his paycheck is $18.45.
Correct.
So there's 2 of those.
Correct.
In December, okay, so $960 and $48.31 are not paychecks.
Those were other, and
It
that's,
would've been his comp time and his vacation time,
I'm
or
thinking.
overtime. There was one overtime and there's one vacation time.
Right. Can you reflect on that at all?
Yeah, if I remember right, there was one paycheck for 2 weeks. I'm talking the month of December.
Oh, that's what
And
the
then-
960 is.
And then there was, well, there might have been 2.
It's a one, that was a,
No,
that was a one,
1845 is the paycheck.
it was 1 week, it was a 1 week paycheck
Right, that was at the very end.
at the
That's what
very
I'm
end.
saying. There
Oh,
was
you're right.
either
That's
one
the 960.
full-time
That's the
or 2
nine-
full-times
that's a
in 1
paycheck.
week.
Right.
I can't remember when the payrolls fell. But the one should have been 1 week
That's
at
it.
the very end.
Would've been the
And then
960.
the 960.
Yeah, cause his normal paycheck's 18.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have the figure
That's
memorized.
it. To the
And
penny.
And the other, the 4831 was, vacation time and, whatever accumulated
In comp time.
And
comp
comp
time
time.
that he had.
cause that, in,
And this is separate from the conversation about the, previous year's 10,000.
No, not
no,
entirely.
not necessarily, the comp time that's included in there is $3,000 some dollars, vacation times, whatever that was, so it's the difference. He's already been compensated the 3,000, you have to go back and look and see what was actually the comp time amount.
And then the rest of it was overtime,
Rest of it, yeah,
was paid overtime.
so, well, vacation time.
Yeah, vacation time accrued and paid out is comp time.
Right.
Like I said, we can go back and.
Yeah,
look.
you
It's
have to go
all-
back
it's
and
all-
look at that, but that's what
I was
the,
just looking for a small prod to my memory there, so that when we talk about it, finance committee, we can.
That's why we did write the last week, whatever that ended up
That-
on,
Yes.
and then separate from the other two. And so, right on the timesheets, it should be there,
Correct.
the hours.
right, cause he was the only
comp,
employee that was paid a single week, because the other
Except for
ones
me.
didn't. Right, yeah,
Like Rory
in yours,
too.
yeah,
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 cause the
right,
rest got rolled over to January.
right,
So
okay, so,
we will,
We have journal entries and timesheets, so we
Yeah.
have all that stuff.
we'll just look at it, get the exact figures.
we'll go back to it. We're not gonna forget this.
All right. Anything else on that matter?
I think was that moved to,
I don't think we're gonna make a
Table
motion on
until
that,
we-
we're just gonna go ahead with.
We'll keep it on the agenda.
We're
Yep.
keeping it on the
Under
agenda and we'll,
Old business and.
yeah,
just
and then we'll
until-
roll it into
until
old
it's presented.
business.
Can do.
All right.
And in the meantime, look at that.
Okay, we'll just move along. Committee reports, property and equipment.
With the deposit of the check for the firewood processing unit, that closes the books on that. And as far as the property goes, we have everything that's gonna be stored out at, our property is out there, the equipment, the last thing we took out were the tree planters, the two, Steve and I took those out there. Everything looks good, we walked around, did a check, there's there's some other stuff, that we'll have to address, when we get down here later on, maybe next month's meeting, I'll give you my report on the cabin out there, because we did stay out there for, not quite a week, but around 5 days. We're gonna come to a fork in the road on that, where we're gonna have to make a decision, but I'll give you a report in February on that, when we have, more time, and the board will have to make a decision on, several issues. Short time rental, long time rental or lease, or selling it, because
Right.
there's a lot of moving parts out there.
We do have
if
some
we're looking
thoughts
at
on that, so.
It's
Nate's-
basically, novel, but the bottom line is you gotta put a pencil to it and make it work, so I'll report on that. Otherwise, everything is good, we're all lined up. Next step we have to make as far as equipment go are the curtains. We gotta look at those and decide what we're
Right.
gonna do with those, and maybe this winter would be a good time to get those out. Because those are taking up a butt ton of our space in our storage unit, and if we can get rid of those, then we can move on.
Be organized.
Probably consolidate them up to a single unit, so.
I've got, just to add on to the cabin and that property out there is, one of the camp neighbors, where we can maybe address that, but has, gone from part-time to full-time residency, right? And I haven't seen it yet, but, comments I had is the road's taking a beating going in and out of there now.
Oh, I can vouch for that,
Yeah. You too.
yeah, not so
So-
much the whole road, because the road's pretty good, but when you start to come through the corporate land, and
Right.
then on into where you turn, where it divides to ours, that where you turn off, yeah, it's
Down
only gonna
that-
get worse next
down
spring,
that
I hate to
hill
look
and
at it
stuff,
next spring.
You can think, put it on the agenda, or remind me, well, I'll make a note to pull the easement there.
I just have one question about property. I have all the keys except for coming through from the other side of the river, from Stryker's side of the river and going through, the other property there. Is that a separate key to that gate?
That should all been in the drawer. Top drawer where all the keys are. I know Mike knows where they are, and you, I
Right.
think you do too.
In the office,
Okay, cause that's separate than our gate key, right?
Yes.
Okay, cause that's, yeah, I don't have that, cause I'd like to go in there before it go, and then just do a last time inspection, because, Stryker's lease is up now, and just do a customary drive-through and make sure that
right,
nothing's been cut down, burned down, which I'm sure it isn't, but then we can say it closes the book on that,
yes.
that lease.
Okay.
So that key is at the end.
Should be in that drawer.
Is your
Okay.
report for the next meeting also gonna include an evaluation of that trailer that's out there?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
cause we're gonna have to look at several different discussions back and forth there.
Yeah.
And we can't find a key for that, so basically, we're gonna have to look at popping that lock next spring and, having a,
I'll bring my lockpick tools.
I got a guy, Bill at the park he'll be able to do that. He worked for Hilltop Camper for years. He can,
Oh,
I
perfect.
guarantee he can do that quickly for us and stuff. That's all I have on the equipment property, unless anybody has any other questions.
Sounds good.
We're good to go, everything's good.
All right. Anything under records? Me neither. Finance.
We've made the move, for, accounting over Snyder Marsh.
Yeah, that's on the agenda,
Well,
under old business.
it's also part of my finance report. And we're working on moving some of our banking over to, Nicolay Bank. That hasn't come about yet,
Okay.
but we're there. That's it.
All right, thank you. MDR, Rachel, thanks for joining us.
Kind of in the department world, I wanted to just share that as of January 1st, we've realigned within our department. It's been kind of a 4 or 5 month process, but we are now under a bureau structure, which is similar to how the DNR and Eagle operate their departments. It means that our division is kind of tucked under a bureau, so the leadership within our bureau now, kind of getting up to speed, but they don't know a ton about conservation districts. We've just been kind of trying to share out with all this leadership change. Our division changed names, so we were the Environmental Stewardship Division, and we're now the Conservation and Stewardship Division. Our division director retired on the 5th of January,
Who's that?
Jim Johnson.
Okay.
So someone who's kind of a legacy in the conservation district world and knew districts very well. So that position posted today, kind of to be determined who will get that, but just some shifting around within our department. I sent out the fiscal year 24 operations reviews that we do with districts, so I'm just bringing it up because you have the rest of the year to kind of complete them and go through them. Try not to surprise people in September. So we use these element worksheets. You guys did them at the end of the fiscal year, so maybe you kind of remember them, but we alternate them. So last year they're not the same ones as this year. I think they're a really great onboarding tool, not just for you as a new board, but for Heather when she comes on to kind of run through some of this stuff that I think is good for her. When she does come on, I'm happy to do as much onboarding as she is needed. Come down and kind of answer questions, give her ideas. As a former district manager, I feel like that's one of my superpowers. And then for the Q1 reporting for MDARD, I have a couple of lingering things, which I think, Joe, you're working on. But out of the 5 grants, I was able to reimburse on 3 of them. So I have 2 more lingering things to close out. Any questions?
When did you send out, you sent us recently, something?
The operations elements?
Did it just come to me? It might have
Yep,
just come
so
to me.
I only send those to district managers, as kind of their due diligence to make sure the boards are aware, and I
Okay.
try to share them in board meetings, so in lieu of the vacancy, I sent those to just Joe.
That's fine, that's good.
I'm happy to send them to everyone if you
Mm,
guys see them.
That's fine.
Eventually, we will have a common access point.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're gonna do, so board
Sounds
members,
good.
so we don't have to send out, yeah,
Yeah,
but we don't have that yet. That was very recent, wasn't it?
yes, yep, it just came out.
I think it was the day
Okay.
we were trying to make payroll maybe, so.
All right.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, cool.
We got
3 of 5.
9 months.
3 to go, or 3 down, 2 to go. Thank you. Anything else?
Nope, that's all for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Staff reports. Since we don't have a staff, we'll just keep many here. We'll keep going. No commissioners at large. Let's move on to unfinished business. Attorney General Assistance. I don't really have anything to add, given the workload of just doing the transition. And getting ready for Heather and making payroll. I just haven't had a chance to provide the contract, Rory's contract to the AG for review. Plus, there's some new things that I found in the records that might be helpful for the AG to be evaluating that. So I will have that done before the next board meeting.
So that is moving along.
Yeah, the offer's there, and it's just jammed up with me. It's on me.
What's the problem?
I don't like being acting district manager. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to keep all this stuff going, especially at the start of the new calendar year. So not really an excuse, just B, accounting firm. I signed a letter of engagement with Schneider, Larch and Hopla. So that they're gonna be doing all our conversions. So they'll be converting our QuickBooks, doing payroll, assisting with taxes, and we'll have that, should be set up by the end of the month.
I was gonna ask you what the timeline was, but
Yeah, I think their like hourly rate costs like $75 an hour. I don't remember all the details. I remember we didn't, as long as it came in under 1.2 million, I think,
That
you
was
guys
our,
approved it,
that
so
was our approval.
we came in way under budget on that conversion. And we're excited to be working, they seem to, well, obviously they know what they're doing as a CPA. So, yeah, they're gonna do,
We like that.
yeah. so
They'll
we'll have
answer the
fresh start.
questions when we have them.
Yep, and then as Heather works into her role as district manager, she wants to assume some of those responsibilities. That's fine
we'll
as
cycle
well.
some of that back out.
If she wants to, yeah,
Yeah.
if it works.
We'll figure it out.
But it's not something she's gonna have to worry about when she starts at the end of the month. YouTube premium purchase, that has now been completed, although I don't think we're live streaming yet, but, are we live streaming?
No,
Okay. What do we need to do to live stream?
get a district manager.
Get a district manager, okay.
We're working on that, right?
I don't
Yeah,
know
we got
social
that.
media.
Excellent, thank you.
Almost covered.
So we're archiving it, we'll upload it later. Another carryover from old business is option to hire meeting minutes. That was something you tabled.
Yeah, table. I.
Table, or can we get rid of it?
I think we can get rid of it, because aren't we,
You're doing a great job here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, why don't we just,
That's something probably a district manager should do.
that's what I think that they should
Okay.
take it upon themselves to
So can we
make that decision.
Can we table it
Just-
permanently?
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
kick that up.
Changing the meeting time, that's on me, so, there's no conflict between 5 PM and 8 PM to be in this room on Wednesdays. So we had passed, at the last board meeting, a 5:30 start date.
So we'll move that into starting in February.
Yeah, the only thing I don't have is, how the access is gonna work, but I will have that figured out. as we move to 5:30, we'll update all our notifications at the district office and on the website so that everyone's fully aware of our starting time at 5:30. Sound good?
Yep. Good.
G, purchase color copier. I did get a call from, or an email from Cooper, I haven't followed up on it. We tabled that. I don't know if we need a color copier at this point. We have three printers.
Didn't a couple printers show up?
Yeah, we have a printer, we have two printers that are functional, so I think last time we talked about just leaving that to
I
the
thought we were waiting
discretion
till
of the
the
district manager.
manager.
Okay. We can
Just
continue to table
continue
that
it?
until she has a chance to look at the needs with that and discussing that with our staff. County financial obligation to the district. There was a meeting with Mike and I, and also the finance committee from the county, which is Bob Peterson and Bob Barron, and Ashley Young, county administrator. In like mid-December, Rory was there, so we tentatively decided what that 10%, I think it's administrative operation services, is gonna be. And then there was also a meeting on January 2nd that I wasn't aware of, that I think did some follow-up. So I just sent a letter to Ashley Young saying, you know, we're converting to, CPA, our QuickBooks, and we just want the opportunity to have an accountant look over that and review that before we finalize what those payouts are. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes. Does.
But we
Okay.
have a solid number now.
We have a solid number, just haven't,
Right.
just really haven't had I haven't taken the
Confirmation.
opportunity to look it over. I think it's something that, Ashley felt comfortable, putting on hold until we had a chance to review it. All right, moving along. Upcoming reporting for taxes and MDARD. I forget all the specifics, but I think that's basically, we have some reporting that's required at the end of this month, and then sometime in mid-February, and some of that that's some of the things that the accounting firm's gonna help with us. Rachel's already helped with some of them as far as reporting out what we need. I still owe you, I think, an operationals accomplishments, which I found in the office that Rory had completed. So I just got that yesterday. I will send that to you.
Okay.
And then I think also have to redo an invoice for additional administrative costs, I think like $500, and I spoke with.
550, yeah.
Yeah, I spoke with Lindsay, our Fat Forester, Lindsay Johnson, right?
Robinson.
Robinson, sorry. Our Fat Forester about doing some additional training for that. So she was all on board with that. So I think those are the two outstanding things I'm aware of.
Yes, that's all I need.
Okay, and then filing our taxes.
Yeah,
You've provided enough background, I think we'll be fine with that.
yeah.
And if we need additional assistance and we can't get it from the accountant, then I've already spoken with Ashley Ritter, right, Ashley Ritter from Ryder, thanks, from Schoolcraft County, about maybe coming over and assisting Heather with doing that, although she probably had to come over beforehand. So I'll keep in touch with you on the progress of that and making those deadlines. Next, jointly owned trailer with county and Mr. Mattson. No. This was discussed at a recent county meeting, and all I will add to that is I have a certificate of title that, and I also have the meeting minutes that discusses this trailer, and I'll just provide an update. I know the county is interested in selling it. I don't think that we have a need for it either, although I may be mistaken on that. Oh my gosh, did someone
over there in that pile? Joe? Could, is that,
Were they from the last, cause I ended up with a,
2016?
oh, no.
Okay. Does anyone have any minute meetings from December of 2016?
funny how they disappeared.
Anyhow, I'll just paraphrase what it said. So basically, the agreement, as been discussed, it was a three-way split between Rory, the district, and the county. And the $2,000 was taken out of the parks budget to cover the county's portion of it. And I haven't followed up on the, how it was paid for as far as the district for Mr. Mattson. But that can be forthcoming. Oh, here's the, sorry, I had it right in front of me. Just like my glasses, when I lose my glasses and they're on top of my head. So this is what I found in the meeting minutes from December 10th, 2015. It was under new business. So December 2015, trailer purchase, Porath motion supported by Herrick to purchase a $6,000 trailer to be registered to the district by a three-way split. Delta County Parks, Conservation District, and Rory Mattson, and that motion carried. And I also have a copy. I thought I had the original. I thought you had provided the original in the files, but when I checked earlier this week, I just had the certificate of title, and it's a copy. And it's the title assignment by the seller. The printed name of the purchaser is Rory Mattson / Conservation District, and the date of sale is 2016 with the selling price of $6,000. So I checked with the Secretary of State, and this is still, I mean, the legal ownership still of this would be under who was purchased from, which is a Luther Riley. And there's no secured interest on record. So even if we wanted to sell it, we wouldn't be able to sell it because we don't have the certificate of title. We just have a copy of it. And
So Luther still owns it, even though
officially,
it's-
although
even though it's sitting at the
there should
park.
be an original certificate of title. So even though the meeting minutes say that this was to be registered by the district, it wasn't. And I recall from Rory's explanation to us, it's because you can only register one owner. You can't do multiple owner registration. So it should have been registered to the district. I don't think we have to pay taxes on it. And I also looked up, because Rory indicated that there was municipal plates that were issued, 4 of them, but the district only has on record 2 municipal plates. I think one of them's probably on the Dodge Ram, and the other one's on one of the trailers. The other thing is, when you have a commercial insurance policy. and
There should
we're
be 2 trailer plates, because we have two other trailers.
Well, I
And then
found,
there's 2 municipal plates that I turned in, that I gave Mike from the 2
From the
vehicles.
two
The other 2
vehicles.
vehicles. So there's 2 more municipal plates I took off the,
do you have them still?
yeah, they should be at the,
Because I had found another municipal plate with a registration to the county. I think some of these plates might be county plates, not district plates.
no, these 2 were definitely plates for the Toyota and the Dodge truck.
Wait, but here's the thing, municipal plates are issued by Lansing, so you can't get them locally. So Lansing registers that, and then once you have a municipal plate, you're allowed to, I believe you're allowed, the way it was explained to me, you're allowed to change, put it on different municipal owned property. You don't, it's not specific to a
Mhm.
vehicle. So the district has 2 municipal plates issued in its name, and then some of these other plates may be owned by, you know, the county that were used. Now, the other thing with our insurance carrier, we have 1 trailer that's insured. It's like $52, I think it's a year. I think it's a year.
Is
It's
that
not
the
a
one
month.
for the,
I
Side by
gave
side,
I gave
yeah.
you the numbers, I don't know if you had a chance to follow up. But
No, you
under,
didn't give me, you didn't send me the,
okay,
you were gonna send them to me in a email, you didn't.
I didn't make it.
No, you need to
Alright.
send them, and I'll look at them, cause one of our trailers is in the storage unit, the other trailer's out at the,
Okay. So under our policy, our commercial policy requires us to carry insurance on any trailer that we use because we have commercial policy. So in that trailer number that we have listed on our insurance through Fisher is not the same vehicle number as this trailer.
So we need to upgrade our plating to begin with, to make sure we have the plates to cover the vehicles and trailers that we have. Am I assuming that right? And then we need to bring
Yeah.
the trailers up to be insured, cause they're,
Yeah, we have to insure all
All
our
the trailers.
trailers if we use them on the road.
so that's
And then.
minimum of another
and then
trailer.
we have
the
to,
two tra- the
yeah,
two
we have
of
to
them.
get the municipal plates enough municipal plates to
To
cover.
match.
Do you have the title for the other two trailers?
I have another trailer from the one that's on the district property. That one was never reassigned either, the title.
Where's that from? Who's on the title of that one?
It's a owner, I don't remember their names. It doesn't matter, I mean, we can figure this out.
Right, we just need to straighten it out and get them all titled to
So-
the district.
I can say one thing, before we can sell our interest in this trailer, we're gonna have to have the original certificate of title. So if you have that, and I thought it was in the district files, but,
I did too. Can I give you guys a little history on this?
yeah, sure,
Okay,
sure.
'cause I know I'm not supposed to butt in,
No,
otherwise
no.
I'll do it in public comment.
No, you can do it here.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct, but, let's back a little bit. The two municipal plates, once you check them, I believe, are to the truck and the car. When we went down to try to do that, as I had stated before, at the Secretary of State's office, and I don't remember who it was, I know it was a guy. He said that trailers don't necessarily have to be registered when they're owned by government. And that was the problem. It wasn't that there was like me and you bought a trailer. We could have got that registered, my understanding, in our name. But when it was a governmental unit and a private individual, what type of plate do you get? So the governmental, what he explained down there was that, and I went for the first one, after that we just put them in the file, was that because it was a governmental unit and a private individual, they couldn't register it because you got a municipal plate versus a private plate.
Oh, I got that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Right,
clear.
so that was the problem there. But at that time, these plates too on these trailers, especially the ones that used, lift and stuff like that, the plates were not really on there. So I said, well, how do we do our other plates? He literally that's why there should be some new ones in the office that I gave to Steve, because he was using those trailers right at the park mostly, except for the dump one. But basically, they gave us 4 municipal plates to just put on the trailers.
Locally, they gave that to you?
Right there at that office. And I have board members who can back that up.
No, I mean, I did find another plate in the files, but that's registered to the.
Yeah,
county.
and I asked, well, don't these plates have to go to a certain trailer? They said you can put them on any trailer you want. It just shows it's a municipal trailer.
So where are these plates now? Do you know?
They were at the office.
Okay.
And you can ask Steve, because I had given to him a few years ago and he was gonna put them on. But then, what was one of the other things that you had brought up? I was trying to there was 3 things.
3 trailers.
Oh, according to Fisher, and I checked on that numerous times for the board, the only trailer, we had to have the vehicles under there, but the only trailer we really had to have insurance on was the one that carried the tractor.
Okay.
Was not the one with the sideboards. And that's why that might answer that question.
Yeah, I think that's probably the trailer. Huh, okay.
So that would probably be the flatbed.
And I can follow up with Karen to see if we have to have that for all of them, or if we can just keep it for the one with the tractor.
Yeah, and if you guys could look for the one coming from Luke, that was the original. Otherwise, I guess we call him and ask him to send another.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, we can't really sign off on anything because we don't, technically, we don't own it. clouded, it's a clouded title, so.
Well, I had went down before, the end of December, and all I did was ask the question is, okay, this is obviously still in that owner's name, it never got recorded or registered, whatever you wanna
Yeah,
call it.
reassigned.
But if we have one that shows two of the entities and everybody signs off on it, can we switch it right over there? And she said yes, to whoever the owner's gonna be, because as long as there's letters of bill of sales, right, just like the truck and the.
I don't have any bill of sale on this, but maybe.
No, I mean, I would have to say,
Oh.
I'm selling it to the district, or you guys would have to say you're selling it to Rory. It sounds like the county's out of it.
They're not quite out of it yet.
No, I mean
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
2000, right.
But they want,
I mean, they're out of it as far as making a decision.
Yeah, we just gotta follow process, so, according to our minutes, it was supposed to be registered to the district. So, I mean, the easiest thing would be for the district to register it and then to sell it according to how we would dispose of property.
Or keep it, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think we're gonna keep it. Well, I see one head shake. Well, hey, that's a different issue. But first we gotta clear up the title and then make decisions. I think that's the best way to do it, so. You think this original is still at the office?
Somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, back then, whoever the managers were the ones who
Yeah,
filed
I
the
thought I had
titles
seen it, cause there's a
and the whole thing.
file.
I didn't do any of that.
But I remember you brought it in, cause we had talked about it. I thought you had brought in the original. Cause I have the original for the trailer.
No, as far as I know, I found it. I didn't bring it in. I didn't have it. It was just
Oh,
in the
okay.
office, yeah.
Well, I'll go back to it. If,
So are we making any progress on getting all of our titles and stuff arranged in a certain specific spot in the office?
that's the district manager's responsibility.
Oh, boy.
I've done a little bit, but, hey man, that's,
In other words, you dropped the ball.
oh, I did not drop the ball.
Well, you didn't carry it very far.
Did you like those meeting minutes?
Oh, yeah, those were
Okay,
nice.
good, yeah,
Yeah.
well, those take time too. All right,
can we, I mean, can we make any, progress other than just,
yeah, we'll find the documents that we need and just go forward from there.
why don't we, on this trailer,
Mm-hmm,
why don't we decide what we wanna do and then find the title and work with it from there? So, are we gonna keep the trailer or, buy Rory and, are we gonna buy people out or are we gonna sell it? Do we need it?
I don't know, that's a different conversation. Do you wanna put that on
I
the
think
agenda
it-
for next time? And
I
maybe
thought
by
about
then, yeah. I mean, I think the first thing is figure out, like, legally,
The hell we
I don't
gotta-
wanna walk into any pitfalls on this. It's just,
Right.
we gotta collect up the information about this ownership and then make a decision.
Well,
Don't
it's
wanna
on
put
the
the trailer
agenda.
before the horse.
It's on the agenda
What, this
As-
jointly
as a-
owned trailer?
as a topic, right?
Okay,
So, I mean, from that sentence, we can make progress. So,
okay, on a trailer that
so why, I'm
we
gonna,
don't
I'm gonna
necessarily
make,
own.
I'm gonna make a motion that we dispose of the trailer. And if I get a second on that, we can discuss what we're gonna do. And maybe even decide what we're gonna do.
That's your motion, is to dispose of the trailer.
Yes, sir.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
All right. How are we gonna dispose of the trailer?
We find the green copy, the original.
Okay,
Take it to the motor vehicles and sign it off to, Mr. Madsen.
Well,
oh, so you wanna sell it directly to Mr. Matson without going out for bid?
he's equally a partner on the trailer. That kinda ties our hands as far as what's gonna happen with that trailer.
But we weren't responsible for entering into that agreement originally. So what happens if that agreement's not legal?
Well, that's an interesting question. Then I recommend we get a, legal opinion on title, and then move forward from there. No reason to just talk about this stuff.
It's not about talking, I'm just, you know, I listened, the county did their debate, and I'm just adding additional details, the facts of what we know about this. And, I mean, financially, we'd have to go back to see what the source of the money was to pay for it. Presumably, it wasn't federal funds. But like right now, it's not insured, it's never had a legal license, and the title's not been assigned to us. So, I personally think it's premature to sell something or dispose of it when we really don't know its status.
So how are you gonna check on whether it was federal funds or not? I mean, the county is, they've written it off already.
I don't care what the county does. I mean, the county said it was a handshake deal. Clearly, it wasn't a handshake. I mean, the county should have records. If they entered into an agreement, I mean, I hear Dave Moyle talking about first rights of refusal. How could you have first rights of refusal on something that the district board said was gonna be registered in their name? If it was registered in the district's name, it would be our trailer with side agreements of who, you know, how you split it. Kinda like a computer, like our split computers with the county. I had to go back to the county and ask, what do you wanna do with all these computers that were split equally between district funds and park funds? And fortunately, the county just said, we're not interested in these. I have that in writing. So they're not gonna come back to us and say, hey, you need to reimburse us for these computers. That authority's already been done, that's settled, so we just took those computers.
I didn't think Moyle's thing was germane to this personally. When he said that, you know, we'd get a right of refusal, that didn't mean anything to me. Point is that we have the trailer, so, well, when we get it, then we transfer it.
Okay, but first we gotta,
Right,
But-
first you have to
but
get the
I-
title
I
straightened
understand
out
that,
as
but how-
the way it is now.
But tracking it back to the funding of it is what I'm.
well, I can look, I mean, make sure that, that's what QuickBooks is all about, that's what fiduciary responsibility is all about, is, you know, you have something in the books, you can go back and double check on it to make sure what is, you know, that the memory that's recalled is actually accurate.
See if I can help you out with that.
And I could tell you, you know, like this, what didn't happen 10 years ago, like it was presented to the county. You know, Moyle remembers this 10 years ago, he's confusing that with something else.
Obviously.
And what's the trailer worth? I mean, you know, if it's, and how are we supposed to sell this stuff? And as there's been other conversations about, you know, the state's opinion on this at the time was not supporting going in a three-way split. So, I'm all about getting rid of the trailer, we just have to do it, you know, in an accountable and transparent manner, and that's already, you know, the county's already sort of started down that road, so we're just gonna do our due diligence and then make a decision.
So when this trailer is
But it,
titled to us, then it's our decision.
Right.
well, sure,
Clearly.
but I mean, we certainly
Clearly.
we'd reckon, you know, I mean, if everything pans out with the meeting minutes, I mean, certainly that supports a three-way split. But we just have to decide how we're gonna sell it and if it's appropriate just to, you know, who's gonna sign off on it.
Joe, one more quick comment?
Please,
Right?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you guys wanna put it up for bids, and I guess if it bids more than 6,000, then we split it three ways, I'm happy with that too. But you can look back, and it was, the county part came out of the parks, so that definitely wasn't federal.
Right.
And the districts, and mine wasn't federal either, you know,
Right,
you'll
right.
find that. So that alleviates that problem, because otherwise, it couldn't have been done.
I think the title has to be
I don't disagree with that, you know.
squared away, number one, and then we move forward with getting rid of the trailer. One way or the other, but the title has to be
Has to
cleared
be
first.
a
We
clear
need to
title.
get, we need to get an original title, whether or not we get a new one from Luke, or we find the original one, cause he signed off the original one, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Correct.
so if we, the best case scenario is here,
that's a copy of it there, right, Joe? I don't,
Yeah.
I can't see what you have.
Yeah.
It's
that's a
signed,
copy of
isn't it?
usually it's.
Yes.
So if we can find the original one of that, that would be the best case scenario, then we switch that title, to the district, and then we go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, cause there's also, you know, when you reassign these, I don't think we have a tax liability on it, but, you know, we need a piece of
Right.
paper we can
No,
assign,
that's my-
otherwise.
That's my
Otherwise, we're
opinion on
just-
there. First things first is we need to get the,
So we have a motion to dispose of the trailer and a second by Glenn. Is there any more discussion on that?
I don't know how we can dispose of it yet until we get the title.
That
squared
should
away.
influence your vote.
Alright.
We ready to take a vote?
Or
on
I
that?
could rescind my motion.
Do you wanna, it's totally up to
I'm
you.
gonna do that.
You're gonna rescind your motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
Back onto that, we'll just keep working on it.
and I will work on it.
May I ask, what does it have on it right now, that title, a copy of the title?
The copy of the title,
Whose name is on it?
title
Luke
assessment
Riley.
by, yeah, it's.
The original owner.
Signed off on it, so that's clean, and then typically, I mean, there's all sorts of way, but it's printed name of purchasers.
Yeah, I see
So
that.
Rory Matson / Conservation District. So clearly Rory has a legitimate claim on it,
Mhm.
and I don't, you know, I'm not gonna contest the county's claim, cause I did confirm that they paid $2,000.
Yeah,
So it's just a matter of having, and then that's it.
all right.
Date of sale 2016, selling price 6,000. So we just have to get a certificate of title that we can then assign to someone.
Right, and then we are released from any legal liability of a trailer.
Well, then
Well,
we can,
no, I
then we can
understand
actually
that,
get it.
It seems simplistic.
It
It's-
it is, yeah,
if
yeah.
it's
you guys
there,
said- Yeah,
wherever
we'll,
the
I
hell
mean,
it
we'll
is.
find it, and there's ways to reassign, we just gotta realign things.
Just one last thing.
Please.
I don't know who asked about the tax liability. If the district or the county were to buy it from the other two, you don't pay tax.
Right.
But if I buy it, then I have to pay a
Yeah.
tax, and I asked them that down there, which I expected, and it would be on, well, if it stays 6,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to pay a
Right.
tax on 6,000.
Right, you're not gonna pay on a dollar, right, to be on the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, individuals don't get away with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so table this till next meeting, and I'll
Either
come-
that, or I
I'll-
make a motion that we get the title squared away.
Well, you don't need a
Yes, yes,
motion for
yes.
that,
Well,
we'll just
then
do it.
We'll go from there then, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna just do it.
Unless you want, you know what, actually, if you wanna make that motion, we can have that be our first step. Title squared away. You
Yep,
wanna make that
I
motion?
make a motion that we square the title away, first things first, and then move on from there.
Support.
Okay, is there any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Excellent, thank you. New business, payment of bills.
Well, we only have a couple bills. Charter Communications, and it's $117.95.
Charter.
Charter.
Is that Spectrum? It's Sim, okay. That's our internet up in the office.
Correct. And that's effectively it.
May I ask a question, are we working on, having this automatic withdrawals for some of these folks yet?
District manager,
Yeah.
I know, I thought we talked about it at one point. though.
district manager.
Yeah, it's what the manager decides. So, in the meantime, we're still doing them.
Plus with Spectrum, you get a break on that.
Okay,
You get a break on direct payment.
For direct deposits.
Yeah.
you do?
Oh, yeah. We do on our phone, we do on our internet.
So noted.
Anyway,
So how much money do we need to write the,
117.95.
that's the only bill we have? Alright.
Life gets easy. Rory, thanks.
Can I get, yeah.
No park.
Can I get a motion to pay our bill?
I'll make the motion.
Bill, not bills, Bill.
Second.
Second. Nate and Glenn, any other discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Perfect. Moving on, new business, hiring district manager. We made an offer to Heather Ledoux, and she accepted.
And she starts the 22nd?
She
Of
asked
this
for a
month?
start date, I think Monday the 29th. Yes, Monday the 29th. That way she can complete everything that she has open at her other employer. The only other thing that she asked is she is covering her own health insurance through her spouse. Except they don't have a she can't get a dental plan.
Can you bring us up to speed again about where we stand, the districts, the insurance process?
So that is not an MDARD thing, so I'm not an expert.
I
But
understand.
the Conservation District's Employees of Michigan, or CEDM, they went around and tried to figure out what districts in the state would be interested in going in on group insurance. And so they looked at dental, vision, retirement, I think that was it, first, with the idea of picking up the, kind of moving forward with health afterwards. So the districts had to respond by a certain date to be even eligible to pick up insurance for employees. So that deadline's passed, so it's gonna be similar to the insurance you're used to, where there's an open season in the fall. You either sign up or you get rid of it, and then it goes into effect on January 1. So in the fall of this current calendar year, your staff will be able to go through that process again. But the idea, excuse me, is that the districts are going together and like getting a discount because there's so many staff members across the state. So, I mean, it could change, I don't know what it'll look like in the fall, but that'll be the open enrollment, is fall. So there's nothing
So-
available right now.
Yeah, so if we did this right now, we'd have to go to an outside
Mm-hmm.
carrier.
And yes, and she found one, and it's about, I think it's $83 a month. And she proposed, asked the district if they would consider covering $50 of that, and she would cover the balance.
Now, would this only be the one employee?
Yep.
The other three are
4?
maybe four?
I assume they've worked out their own details, because we don't have them on any insurance.
Okay. So if I recall in past employment, when insurances were offered to an employee, and they opted out, but others opted in, there's an imbalance in earnings there. So the person taking the insurance is basically getting a increase in their pay. So those that opted not to because of finding it with a spouse or something, they were paid the difference as part of their wage. Are we gonna do that?
That would be a policy change, so.
Well, you're asking for one, too.
Nope, this is part of a contract negotiation, I would consider it.
Oh, it's still.
I mean, we can deny it,
You're talking about,
but,
you're talking about Heather.
oh, I'm just talking about Heather.
Yeah.
Is she being
Okay.
carried right now,
Didn't understand.
or she's employed?
Oh, yeah.
And.
Or she's covering her insurance, but
Okay, well,
her movement is she's gonna lose her debt.
I understand that, but what about Cobra? I mean, she's gonna get Cobra coverage, so the question is how much is Cobra gonna cost her?
Well, she already looked into this, and I think this is,
Okay.
Cobra's expensive.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know
guarantee
about
it's-
dental, I mean, I've never had dental, so I don't know.
If it's just contractual, then if we're talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
the contractual part of this for Heather's
I would think since she's
For
a new
Heather's
employee, this is
contract,
what
yeah.
she requested, so.
And
Can I give you guys a little thought
Oh,
to
yeah.
chew on?
Do that.
Please.
So, I think if you were to do something like that, you really need to look at it as not a new employee, a specifically Heather thing, but look at it as every employee within your office and keeping it fair. So, a couple of examples that I see, I have a district that, almost all of their staff get insurance through their spouses, but one or two of them did not and asked the board to provide some kind of either pay for it or give them part of it, like you're talking right now. You might wanna consider just having a policy or something in your personnel policy that says, we're gonna give our employees a certain amount of money, whether it's monthly, quarterly, annually, for whatever health or, dental, et cetera, benefits that they need, regardless of whether they need it. They can take that money and pay for their premiums themselves. They can pocket it because their spouses are getting it withdrawn automatically from their own employers, but it keeps it fair. It's a standard number, regardless of whether they need the insurance or not. If you go to give it to just one employee, it just doesn't look favorable to the rest of the staff because they don't need it, they're not getting it. So that would be my recommendation, is just some kind of a stipend that you give to all employees regardless of whether they've asked for it.
Well, I don't question you at all, but to be honest with you, dental is a hell of a premium on insurances across the board. So, that's my point about this.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stipulations on dental, usually their ceilings are low. I mean, I know with my wife's, even with the state, it's like $1,800 a year is the ceiling. So you're not getting a lot. You usually don't get a lot.
So if we went with Rachel's recommendation, it'd be like an extra $250 a month.
Right, that's what I
liability
looked at, I just did a quick,
Times 12, that's $3,000 a year. I mean, I'm okay with that too.
so am I.
so
Are
we
ya?
would go back to Holly and the other three girls and
Women, yeah, we can
for
just,
women.
we could just make the motion and then
Right.
offer that out,
Employees.
and then that gets incorporated in our personnel policy.
So I'll so move that we, offer that as a benefit to our employees.
Okay.
And this will come out of the district.
Oh, yeah,
It'll come out of our district.
just fine, cause I don't think anyone has insurance coverage through the feds, do they, through NRCS?
No,
Okay.
no.
Then we'd have to look at it when it came back to the open enrollment period, if something worked out better
Yeah.
that way.
Exactly.
And you could decide if you wanna pay that directly instead of giving it to a staff person to decide what to do with
Right.
it.
So that might influence some.
And can you limit it to just health spending, or should it just be anything?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, you can call it a healthcare stipend and know that the employees may use it to pay a premium or pay for gas. It doesn't matter to you, hence why you don't ask for documentation, you're just
Right.
giving it to them as a
Right.
benefit,
Wha-
like,
What's,
we're not offering you insurance, we're giving you a stipend.
what's the chance, I mean, why can't we as a district have HSAs then for them, period? And then there's, tax benefits as well.
You could, and
And-
some districts can, but most cannot afford to do that. But you could look
Well,
into it.
That's just a contribution thing, so
Mhm.
annual.
Well, they could set up it into an I mean, they can take it,
What'd you say we're liable for then, cost
it'd
wise?
be 3,000 a
Wait
year.
a minute, how much a month?
50.
5 employees, $250
Okay.
times 12.
And we'll make that policy, personnel policy.
That was my motion, yes.
Okay. $50 a month healthcare, you wanna call it a healthcare stipend?
Stipend, yes.
Okay. Healthcare stipend,
Would you-
or just stipend?
Stated as a
Well,
healthcare
yeah,
stipend
yeah,
or?
oh,
I think that's what the other districts have
Yeah,
been doing.
Okay.
Okay, so you move a $50 a month per employee healthcare stipend
yes,
incorporated into our personnel policy.
correct. But effective now.
Yeah. Perfect. Is there a second for that? I'll certainly second it. Is there any other discussion?
You might wanna consider how often you're gonna give it.
Oh,
So I see some boards doing it quarterly, it's a little easier on the manager to determine that, and it's often a reimbursable thing, so you're getting it because you've been employed for 3 months, here you go.
right.
But you could do it annually or monthly.
Yeah, I'll probably just leave that to the manager, those details, but. So $50 per employee per month for healthcare stipend,
And then leave it to
Motion.
Heather's
Motion.
discretion on,
or just how it's gonna set up.
You
Yeah, how we
second.
format
Set
this.
up.
Yeah, I second it.
Yeah.
Is there any more discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
I.
Anybody opposed? All right, that motion carries. And then the last thing under, hiring of the district manager, I didn't know what you meant by incoming needs for the office. That was
Well,
something you asked me to put on.
You know, that office is awfully small, and I know it's up to her discretion what she'd like to do. But personally, wherever I've worked, and I've worked in a lot of businesses, I think that office needs to be set up for her. And I don't think a district manager should be sitting out where you greet people coming in. She's gonna be doing a lot of conversations on the phone. I think that you all know what I'm talking about, that office. I think it needs to be set up before she gets here, so she doesn't walk in and say, well, here you are, have a nice day. And that the only thing that's available is that desk sitting out there by the reception area. So I guess I feel that, you know, there's a lot of stuff she's gonna be doing. She's gonna need a place that has a door on it, and then Holly has an office as well already, so I think our district manager needs an office.
She has, I mean, that's really up to her how she
Well,
sets
but
up the office.
that room is filled with stuff, so when she walks in the
Yeah.
door, you're gonna say, have a nice day, and what are you gonna do with all that stuff?
That's up to her. She's district manager.
I just disagree with that. I think we have an obligation to get this set up for her. That's my opinion.
Well, I couldn't disagree more.
Okay.
I mean, that's really an executive function,
Well,
is the manager setting up and working with staff to figure out the best flow of the office, how it integrates.
But the part that I'm gonna express,
Yeah.
part of our obligation though is to work with them,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And it's also to offer
What's that?
assistance definitely to the district manager.
Yeah,
So if I walk in there and say, hey, I'll help you out, whatever it takes, physical labor or whatever, that's what I'm talking about. And someone needs to talk about Mike Van Wyck about moving that stuff out, because there's a lot of stuff in there is NRCS stuff.
and I've talked to Mike about that, but that's really, I mean, that's a function of a director, is to determine how
Okay,
that
but
all plays
can I,
out.
okay, but I might as well bring it up right now. Something has to be done by the end of January, and we're gonna need to jump on it. This stuff for the tree sales has to go out in that last week. Time out.
I get it.
I've talked to several district managers, and I talked to this man right here, Jorge Mattson. We have to get this thing out, and it has to be, and she's coming in on the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna do that?
No,
Yeah, really?
it's the district manager starts on the 29th. I mean, to go in and reconfigure an office.
Not reconfiguring, but.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable making that decision. I mean, if you can convince these other two gentlemen to support that, but
Well, support just,
I don't know what action you are hoping we take before that she has an opportunity. I mean,
What action I'd
You'll
like to
feel-
take, I'd like to clean that office out and make it suitable for her, to be able to walk into an office.
well, certainly that front area is a suitable workspace. And if she wants to reconfigure it from there, that's really, I think, her function.
Okay.
That's not what a board does, I mean,
Well, I defer back to her and some of the things that I've read about what boards do with these folks.
yeah, if you wanna weigh in, Rachel, I'm
And
happy to hear your
because
perspective.
things I've read about them
I
being
can hear
involved
your
in helping.
gears turning.
I don't exactly know what you guys are talking about. I've been into the office a few times, so I can't envision what you're referencing, but, you know, I came into an office and that was one of the things that I wanted to do for myself as the manager, was rearrange and get it set up the way I wanted. So I'm kind of with Joe, where I would just let Heather configure the office as she feels like she needs to. But I don't know, I guess I don't know exactly what you're talking about in there.
There's a back room with a door that is basically storage now.
Okay,
So
So
some
you
of the
want that
storage is
room
NRCS
reserved.
property, some of it's district property.
sure.
So that could be converted into, you know, ultimately a workspace if the NRCS was agreeable to, you know,
To move it.
having, you know, some other thing with storage.
And I'm not talking only that, I asked you about our relationships, because I've read those laws and how we're involved with these folks, and I just would like some edification on our involvement
With
with.
NRCS?
Yeah, with NRCS, with the staff and with the district manager. I mean, we have obligations to provide whatever they need to help, to help them.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. I feel like, your obligation to them is to give them a workspace. I think cleaning out a room and getting NRCS's files out of there, to me, that's the staff's job. I guess, yeah, I don't know if I understood it all the way through though. I mean, that is an it's a federal building, so I don't know exactly where the stuff can go. From what I've understood, NRCS is kind of at capacity, so it's probably their overflow, and they may not have anywhere to take it. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, if she wants, I started out, was that it's at her discretion what she wanted to do. I was trying to provide some assistance. Because down the road, if there's not assistance and we can't work with them, then, I mean, I'm sorry, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I've talked to a lot of people that are involved.
Well, I
With
agree
these
with
folks.
that, but I'm sure Heather will ask if she needs something.
No, I'm not,
Yeah.
I just wanted a clarification
Oh.
on some of our responsibilities as board members. And I've read all these things about how the board interacts. But my point is, it's to be involved and say, okay, we can help you. I mean, it doesn't seem that strange to me. Because they're good. Because as I said, in the end of January, if we don't get these things out, we got stuff coming. This is a big operation. The tree part is a big operation. And I've got concerns about it, getting all the information out. I really do. So if you're just gonna let it flow, then it will flow. But no. Anyway,
Well, I mean, the tree sale would be a different issue.
it's on here.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I just was bringing it up because it's.
Well, yeah, but it's a different item
After sitting,
than
that's
incoming
fine.
needs for the office.
Okay, well, okay, when you get to that, I'll express it then. That's fine.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, we already covered Steve Wary, IT and network services. So I forwarded a quote from Endless Business Solutions about basically reconfiguring our network services.
All right.
We're running off of a Microsoft Home Edition license. We don't have anything backed up on the computers. We don't have any in-office security. I can print things from my iPhone into district computers. So we need a serious upgrade if we're gonna meet our obligations as a professional business. And mind you, NRCS, which are the computers that the staff work off of, are on their entirely separate system. So this would be basically the administrative side of
Administrative district.
the district.
I would move that we,
Okay. I should add that, yeah, DS Tech won't touch our computers, I mean our laptops, because of just the concerns that we've discussed previously with people not associated with the district, basically these deleted accounts, nothing was backed up, so we've recovered some of that information. If you need more detail, I'm happy to talk about it, but,
So-
when we took one of the laptops to DS Tech, DS Tech didn't want to touch it anymore. And DS Tech was fully aware that, a home edition of Microsoft licensing was being used on our district computers. And and they told, former staff that this should be changed, but it never was, so. I'd say we're security-wise and network-wise, we're in a pretty vulnerable situation.
And then, looking at this, the costs are, there's an upfront charge of, what is it, $312.69?
Yeah,
It's a one-time,
I think that's recurring
It's
monthly
monthly.
charge.
monthly,
So by comparison,
but I thought the monthly charge was $160. It says the monthly charge, $167.69.
Oh, I'm sorry.
well,
Chris,
And
do you
then
wanna
the other one I'm assuming is a one-time charges.
the licensing?
$312.69, and then, all the equipment is upgraded, every 3 years? Is that how I read that?
I think it's every 5.
Yeah, I think it's every 5.
Every 5?
Mm-hmm.
So the actual monthly charge that would be charged us would be the $167.69?
No, so
I don't think
the
so.
endpoint protection, which is malware and virus, protection for your machines, that's what you're paying DS Tech to do right now. That's a monthly charge, and so those would be monthly charges. And it's 3 computers,
It'd be $12 a month.
$12 a month. And then, the remote access to conduct any sort of work that needed to be done would be $6 a month. So that's a monthly charge.
So it's $312.69 a month?
That's correct.
Yep.
And
Okay,
right now, you're paying DS Tech
Yeah.
$135. And for that $135, I think you have 4 services that you're being provided. And with the additional services here, you'd be provided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think it's 14 services, 14. So you're adding to what service you're being provided. Right now, DS Tech does your virus and malware and patching for the operating system, which is the Microsoft operating system. So they're patching, installing any updates. Those are the 3 services that they're providing. And then on call, if you have needs, IT needs, you call them, create a service ticket, and then they will charge you an hourly rate for the service that they provide. So that's what you're getting right now for $135.
Are there any of these on here that are and again, items that are necessary every month, the updates and
Well,
malwares? And the follow-up question on that is, this is one bid,
yep, that's true.
and is there anyone else to bid?
I didn't put it out for bid. And Josh was chosen. Josh worked at Bay College. So we can put it out for bid, but we will take these vulnerabilities into the 29th.
And there's some things you can do. One of the things I agree with Glenn on, I think it's really important that when Heather comes in, she's provided a workstation that is set up with the operating system that is a professional edition for business. It is not a home edition. That she has an account that she can use, that she knows where the data is that she needs to do her job. So there are things that should get done right away that are preparing the IT infrastructure for her arrival on the 29th. And then you could do some of the other work after the fact, but you really do need to prepare for her to come in and be able to sit down at a computer and do the work that is secure, it's proper licensing, and what she logs in and sees is what she's gonna see from here on out, not learn something the first few weeks or the first month and then have to relearn everything again when you transition from home edition to professional edition.
Also looked up how much we spent last year with DS Tech Services. It was $3,900.
About the same amount.
Yeah, but we have no backups.
No, I understand.
We lost data.
I'm sorry, I just have to use your phone to record because mine for some reason is
Oh,
gonna
okay.
die and I don't understand what's going on.
I mean, ideally, we would put it out for RFP, and I mean, I'm certainly open to that, including offering it to DS Tech as well. And we don't have a procurement. We don't have a procurement policy, so
No, we don't.
we don't.
No, you do not.
So lacking one, we just do what's been done and just do it. And
What-
then,
what do
we should create a policy.
Oh, yeah, we
But
should create a policy.
in lieu of creating a policy right now to, get over a major, this is a major.
Yeah, is it any different than deciding Hopla, Schneider, and Larch? I mean,
That's
they didn't
exactly
put
what
that out
comes-
for bid either.
That's
Do you
what
do you
comes
have
with it.
any insight on this? Like, do we just keep our vulnerability and go through the proper procedure? Do we fix this thing?
I am not an IT person, so I don't really know. I feel like it's a lot of money and I'm not really sure what you're getting for it. So like paying out to have some work done is one thing, but to have a reoccurring monthly bill, I'm just kind of blown away by why you would need that. I don't think any other districts have something like this. I don't know what kind of vulnerability you're worried about, but
Well, we have no email accounts prior to May of last year,
so
and we're running on an illegal license.
Can I speak to, because I think that's a big whopping statement that
What'd I say?
Rachel just made.
Oh.
No. So it's very typical to have a reoccurring IT bill because you have protections that are essential for the IT equipment that you're running in your business. Any district should have something that's protecting their IT equipment. Malware and viruses are significant and need to be protected against. You also have patching of your operating system, and that needs to be updated. Now, your staff could be doing that if they have skills that allow them to do that, but most people don't, and they don't know which patches they should install during business hours, which patches should be installed after hours that could have an effect on the people doing business. They don't know which patches you don't want to install because it's going to create an issue. You also have a network, and everything sits on top of that network, and that network right now is wide open to the public. I can sit in the parking lot and use the network if I want to, which means I can attack that network if I want to. So you have something that is wide open to the public. That is not appropriate, and you shouldn't have that. You also have no security, no backups on your systems. So for instance, if you have a computer that crashes and all this data is on that computer, whether it's local, some of the stuff in the district was on OneDrive, and some of it was local to the machine. Anything that's local to that machine is gone, unless it can be recovered. Now, we found that some stuff can be recovered, but not all stuff can be recovered. A lot of the deletion of files was deliberate and not accidental, so that can go one way or another. But not having backups has created that scenario where we have lost public records, lost documentation, lost agreements because those files were not backed up. So none of the systems have an appropriate level, or what I would consider to be an appropriate level of backup.
And I don't disagree with that at all.
And then last, I just wanna say lastly.
Oh, go ahead.
IT equipment, has a cycle to it, and typically about every 5 years, you are going to need to upgrade your equipment. And if you don't have any sort of an agreement, then in 5 years, we will be going through the same upgrade that you're going through, that we're talking about right now. You'll do it again. So you either pay up front and you pay for all the equipment, and then you house that equipment for 5 years, and then in 5 years you redo it, or you pay a monthly charge, and then in 5 years, all that equipment is refreshed at no cost to you, because you've been basically paying to have that equipment refreshed on a cycle that is reasonable. And 5 years is pretty reasonable.
And I
So
don't
that's
Okay, go ahead.
what I wanted to.
I don't disagree with the backup, because but every place I've worked, we just did that. We had someone inside that was working there that just backed everything up every week.
Right, and you can
But-
certainly do that,
But,
yeah,
but
if you have a process.
the next question was, though, that what do the feds got going on up there?
I
Well,
can tell you.
so you have 4
Well-
computers that you would be getting serviced?
No.
Is that what I heard?
No, so
One
my understanding is,
Managers?
it's just really the manager and any district staff that uses a computer. And
Do all the staff, does Lindsay, Holly, I know for sure the CTIs, are they all using the federal system?
They are.
Lori is
But
their
they
IT
also have,
support?
they also have conservation district computers.
I don't think Lindsay is yet, is she? Did she finally
has-
get on the NRCS?
she has-
Yeah.
Yep, she has an NRCS
Just
computer,
came.
yep.
Alright.
So
But
the
they
Fed-
all
the
have
feds-
CD computers as
The feds
well.
get this service, like, they have somebody in the UP who will work on their computers and like all of that, but,
So they have that card, I think some security card that they can get in
Yep.
and use.
yeah, and they
And
log into the server.
I believe I was told that's like $5,000 seat. they
Yeah,
call
and
it.
NRCS covers that.
Oh, I know, but I mean, they're paying, I mean, we're not paying it, but
Mhm.
someone's paying
Someone's paying it.
$5,000 a year.
Per-
So a district employee can use a network.
So this company, I heard, can remote in. I'm just thinking through like the security aspect of all of the personal data, that's on these computers.
Yeah, that's the way
Like,
we,
that's all protected
that's all
from
we
these
have,
outside sources.
well, we have it now, yeah. Yeah, you know, I talked a little bit about like PPI, right, personal protection information.
Mhm.
If these providers violate that, those are crimes.
Okay,
So, yeah, I mean, anyone who's in the business of this is going to assure you that these things won't be misused. But, you know, what assurance do you have that they won't be misused?
right.
You have the law, and if someone violates the law and uses a computer to commit a crime, they're at risk.
So the other districts are doing this internally. They're backing up, with hard drives and the cloud and et cetera.
But who's providing their services, like their,
For the districts themselves, I don't know that anyone is, or they have a company doing it, I'm not sure. I
so
think
they're
it
doing
varies.
they're doing all their own IT work.
So most of the districts in Michigan cannot afford these kind of services. So your district is in a different wheelhouse.
I got it.
And you could certainly remove any of the services that, you know, these are all separate.
Do something more big. I mean, the one thing we need is to back up all the data off the computer
Oh,
so that we can.
absolutely.
So we
Well,
could
we have
just
to
do
do
that. I
that.
mean, to back up a computer, it's like $100. That's what
But
Josh is charging.
we have other problems by switching over our system for the district to a business, to a
Yeah.
business license rather than a personal license. So we have to do that, and
Yeah, you have every computer right now owned by the Conservation District is running, home edition of Windows, which
Right.
is a violation of Microsoft licensing. So you need to move on from that.
right,
So
so there's a cost there.
Right,
That's
right.
$200 per seat
Okay.
to change that, to convert it.
So,
I mean, and at the very basic, we could just have them come in and back up all the computers, so that we have a backup of where we ended, and then we can, you know, I can go back and ask, we can put it out on RFP. Would you recommend putting it out on RFP, Rachel?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, sorry.
I mean,
I mean, you could, you know, put it out there for a week or two and
Yeah,
see who bites. I don't know how many service providers are available, but then you're being transparent.
over transparent.
So,
why don't we do that for a week?
Yeah, I would say, but I am gonna have him back up all the computers.
I do the backup right now,
Okay.
but let's put an RFP out for only a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we could do it for 2 weeks, 'cause
2 weeks.
it's not gonna start before Rachel, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
Heather.
before
Heather.
Heather starts, so.
But we'd like to have a clear, workspace for her when
She
when
has,
she,
okay,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm talking computer-wise, everything should be correct
Well, there's
when
a-
she's there.
Right, there's a new computer that's in Holly's office that she doesn't use, so I don't think there's anything on that.
But again, getting the Microsoft to a business license
Yeah,
needs to be done also.
and that will be part of the RFP.
Right. Then, do we need a motion to do it?
You don't need a motion to develop an RFP.
No.
Hey, if you want to
Let's get it-
authorize
we gotta
backing.
get it backing up,
Yeah,
to make-
whose committee would this be? Is this?
Well, it's really
equipment?
records.
It's records, so
I'd
it
say so. I
covers
mean-
two things, right, okay.
Records is where the problem is.
Right,
how about if I'll make a motion to have our systems backed up ASAP.
Okay.
and then do an RF,
Yeah, we just,
I support that.
all right.
That's enough
You,
motion.
you don't wanna immediately change the, operating system from the home to business? That's,
That should be done on at least the computer that Heather's gonna use, but if you're running the RFP for the next 2 weeks, it could potentially happen before she starts. So, you know what I'm saying?
Do you wanna
would-
throw that in, amend his motion?
well,
It's
no,
not
I'm
that
just wondering,
Okay, that's what
Yeah,
I think.
it's not that simple.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into converting from
Right.
a home edition to a professional edition with domain accounts. So it's not just a flip of a switch.
but on a
It's
scale of importance, what needs to happen?
backups of the computers,
Number
security
one.
of the network, and then, transition of all of the licensing.
So that would be the low totem pole one would be the license.
Well, it's the one thing that I doubt Microsoft's gonna come knocking on your door
Yeah.
and, you know,
Well, they do now that we have these things uploaded to YouTube. No, I agree. I think the first thing we do is just back up the
Mhm.
computers that haven't been backed up yet.
Right.
You good with that?
Yes,
I think that's what we were,
that's what I said.
Is there any more discussion?
And then we try to get it with the operating system is changed by the time we get Heather on board.
Not gonna happen if we put that out on RFP.
well, you can, you just need to shorten your time.
yeah,
And
As
then
I
you just
said-
need to write into your RFP that the work needs to be done on X, on such and such a
At
date.
least getting Heather's up,
Just put the RFP out for a week
Okay,
and move it along.
okay.
Yeah.
I can do that. Any more discussion?
Was this a one-year contract for this gentleman though, just out of
yeah,
curiosity?
that's what I was looking at,
I
it's
can bring it
from,
down to one and then,
Yeah, I
because
think
there's
it,
two,
it's from 1/8/2024 to 3/9/20, oh, that's only 3 months.
no, it says it's a 60-month, the network
Oh,
as a
60
service
months.
It was
is a
60 months.
the
5-year.
way we can do it is.
Yeah.
5 years.
Because it's
What-
replacing the
Yeah,
equipment
what
every 5 years.
explain to me is there's two ways you can do it. You could sort of pay as you go, or enter into a 60-month.
Yeah, okay.
The
and
same with
some-
the backup as a service, it says
Yeah.
60 months.
And
too.
that's where the 167/69 comes in, that's the upgraded 5-year
Every
policy where.
5-year, yep.
Yeah.
So,
Like right now
That's-
with DS Tech, we pay 35 months for a switch.
We're still in a conversation.
Yeah, I'll have them, we'll put out the RFP to quote it both ways.
All right,
A
please.
5-year term and month to month.
What I was reading.
yeah,
that
cause that's a
was sent out
$10,000 shot.
Was a very professionally done.
What was that name?
That's a $10,000 shot.
What is?
If the 167, that's the 5-year upgrade. If you pay the 167, whatever it is to change, for 60 months, it's 10 grand.
So for 5 years.
Right, 60 months, 5 years,
Yeah.
right.
And what is it a year?
2.
Well, it's 167 a month.
No, but what is it per year?
It doesn't give a yearly total, it gives a 167.
Oh, times 12.
It's
Times,
do the
well,
math.
times 12.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Divided by 5.
Wasn't it $312 a month?
No,
It's
not
just-
what I'm talking about.
The 5-year thing, yeah.
2 grand, well, you figure it out, you divide it
Yeah,
out,
2
it's
grand.
just over.
It was 2.
And we
Yeah,
spent
around
3
3
grand last year,
Yeah.
DS Tech, without any backups or any of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not the whole package, that's just the, what do you get for that? Let me look at that and see what you get for that.
Yeah, that's the network as a service,
Right,
so that's, your equipment for the network,
your equipment, your firewall,
That's- yeah.
access point,
and it's, 24/7 monitoring, it's, support, so no additional costs, if something fails, you pay nothing, to resolve the
There's
issue.
no emergency tickets.
right, but then you have to throw on top of that, then the $100 a month charge for the backup.
If you do backup as a service.
Right.
Right, but like what Rachel is suggesting is you can just have a policy that dictates, your employees do this to back up their systems at the end of every day. I mean, you can do
So
something
you
different
could back that out of there,
than-
that would take that cost out of there, then it would
Exactly.
be, right.
Yeah, you
I-
can
that
pick
would
and
be-
choose what you want to,
I can see that, it's the $300 and some a month charge.
Are most people still doing backups and offsite? Get your stuff offsite?
oh yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
that's,
I don't know,
yeah.
I've been out of it for a while, so.
Yeah,
Some
that's the
districts,
key is
do
to-
districts do
Offsite.
offsite backup?
I think it varies depending on the district. In Marquette, I used a Hexternal hard drive.
yeah, it's absolutely essential that you have backups
So
in more
you're
than one
obligated to keep your
location.
records per state standards, but there's no standards for securing your data.
Well, a lot of your data does need to be secured. I had a lock and key.
No, I mean,
But,
secure in
I
a real
mean,
way, network
there's-
attack.
Certainly lots of reasons why we were probably not super protected. It's just the reality of each district is different and some can afford to do things and some cannot, and you just gotta I know a district that has a fireproof safe that they put all their stuff in, and
Yeah.
that's all they got. So,
God, you just think if you have 4 employees that are on the federal system, that the person administrating it all would have that seat too. It just seems like, just add that, so that person has the same level. I mean, just like, we're required to do FOIA, but how do we get, we can't directly access any of the staff's email accounts. We would have to go through a federal FOIA for that. Even though we're obligated under retention laws and FOIA under Michigan state law, I can't access any of the employees' anything, really. I'd have to go through federal FOIA with that. Is that
I
accurate?
don't think that's accurate. The employees that are CTIs and Holly, they have emails that are through the National Association of Conservation Districts, so they should end in nacd.net.
They do.
They do.
Those are not federal emails.
Oh, they're not?
Quote me if I'm wrong, Rory, but I believe that they're given to them through the National Association, which is an agreement that was figured out with NRCS, but I still think if you were to FOIA your district staff's emails, it would be a district thing, not
It
the
would.
feds. I think,
Okay.
but I might not have that right. I've never heard anyone FOIA their emails, so. But I think if you look at it, it's nacd.net.
It is. I just thought that was the federal system.
No, they're USDA.gov. It's like that weird, they're called federal emails, but I don't think they necessarily are. I think they're through the National Association.
Okay,
But
National Association of
I can do some
Conservation.
digging, I'm not,
Yeah, I'm just
not sure
curious
if you know,
about
Rory.
All right, where are we on this, we have a motion to back up the computers immediately and to put out an RFP on these services broken down annually and over 60-month
Please.
lists. And that was, you made the motion.
Made the motion, I'll second it.
You seconded. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. And the next one is email requirements of board members. That was something.
Yeah, that's something I put in, cause I've been concerned, I'm not sending stuff to Russ, cause it's not a MAC, the hell is it? You know,
MACD.org.
It's not that email, and it's a private email, and I won't send anything out on it, so he's getting nothing from me whenever we have to interact as a group. And I got, he needs to get one of these, and he needs to get on board, he's never here in the winter time, so we need to interact with this gentleman. Historically, I guess
stuff.
you've looked at the emails, but then that's, you got his emails, right? You opened his emails and told him what was there?
No,
Oh.
if you put Russ Ross, I remember what the thing, it goes to him.
But he never responds.
This is what I've been told for a long time. He's a we had board members before that didn't even have emails. Right?
Right.
But all you guys are way more computer savvy, but Russ can read anything you send him, but he usually never replies, even to a private individual. That's what I hear from Russ.
So he does have a district account?
His a what?
He has a district account?
No, he doesn't have a district account.
Oh, so you're just sending it to his private
He's
email?
never wanted to get one, he said, so it's just been his decision, I guess.
Yeah, I still send him emails, but he's never responded once. He did call me and said he wanted to stay in a loop, and I confirmed that I got his call, but he never got back with me, so I think he's receiving them,
Can
but
I make a suggestion?
just,
Okay.
So this isn't a concern?
it's one,
It
if we
isn't.
got a FOIA request for his emails, that would probably be a dead end. I mean.
I would say 95% of the directors on the boards all use their personal email.
Really?
And how do they handle FOIAs?
I mean, A, they're getting very little in their email, and B, it probably just hasn't come up. That's part of being an elected official, is that if you're using your email, it's out there. And so,
Because if it's not an issue, then.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I think everything should be MACD, cause that's all backed up. That's all accessible.
I don't know if you guys would be willing, but in the past, believe it or not, for him, he'd send him stuff, and then I think Rachel can remember, I just put my cell phone there and have it plugged into the wall so he could listen and join in. Couldn't vote, except
Right.
for COVID, right? Then I think he.
yeah, for a
So,
little while.
Yeah,
I mean, he
got-
can
it's
listen,
kind of
cause there are, what did you wanna add? Did you have something?
One of the suggestions I wanted to make is that you have 5 domain email accounts that are available to you. Right now, 3 of those can be archived, and once those 3 are archived, you can use them to your advantage, and I would suggest you create a board at deltacd.org email account, and all of your communication that's for the full board could just go through that email. And each one of you, your emails will be plugged into that board at email account, so you don't have to, you don't have to
Type 'em in.
check another one, you would still have your MACD accounts, but the public or, yourselves, for that matter, if you wanna send something out, you would just send it to one email address, and everybody is gonna get it.
That would be nice.
Well, and the other option on that is getting away from our domain and just using MACD.
You could do that as well.
Cause I think for our membership with MACD, we have, I don't know if they cap the number of emails.
Nope.
So, yeah, I mean, why pay GoDaddy, which is pretty expensive domain accounts, when we're already paying,
You are locked into them for a while, though. I forget
Yeah.
what the term is right now. I think it's 2 years.
but MACD is, I mean, we're paying for that we're paying for basically a premium service. I mean, my preference would be to have everything on MACD, including if Heather, when Heather comes in, or manager at. I just, I don't see an advantage of paying for something that we're already paying for something twice.
Well, and you're not even paying for it, you get it anyway.
Well, even if we didn't contribute to MACD?
Yeah, your contribution is to their organization for advocacy and training and whatnot. So, I don't know what your due structure is, but you can have unlimited emails because you're a member. So, I mean, you can look at it as a perk, but
I don't
really,
have to
to
worry
me,
about
it's
backing things
thing.
up. I mean, that might simplify the whole email. Should we motion that if you're associated with this district, you gotta be through I mean, or we can table it, we can talk about it, think about it, ask questions, but I'm on board with you. I think we should migrate stuff to MACD.org for board members. Cause we're accountable to FOIA, and you know that, you don't want.
And as it is, we are there right now, except for one board member, correct?
This is true. And I'll probably set Heather up on a MACD.org. And then when GoDaddy times out, we don't have to, I mean, those are expensive domains. And there's no advantage to them.
And
as
I
far as
believe,
can
does
tell.
MACD offer domain services as well? You know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Cause
think
that would be another thing to
so.
look at, is to transition from GoDaddy to a less expensive
You know what,
domain provider.
how about this, we'll keep that on the agenda, and I'll contact MACD and find out what sort of services they can provide to districts. I mean, I like the deltacd.org, but, I don't think we're at any disadvantage using MACD.org. Do you see any downfall of that? Okay.
No, it's totally up to you.
And it's Gmail, and I like that. I'm on Gmail myself, so I've had no issues with that. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Chris has got, cause I'm not, I have, iCloud, my second email is iCloud, and I have a problem sending my stuff from the Delta.
We'll look at it after the meeting,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cause at first it was just, if I could go in and originate something in the Delta and send it, and it would show up that it went through my iCloud address. It wouldn't be on my Delta. And then lately I did, cause I just did that one, you never ever let me know back if you got CC'd on that one I sent to John over that
I did.
property. Did you get copied on that?
Yeah, I don't think there's been any response. I didn't.
No, I haven't got anything back from him on that either, so that's another. Just reference, Eric Thompson has nothing to do with those property sales. He's
Oh, he
ju-
used to.
He's just the forester, he made that very, very clear. He's just the forester, he's the one that he's the one that looks at the property and says, okay, this no longer has value to the state, we no longer, it, you know.
Should have that as
moves
an
it up
agenda
there.
item for the next meeting.
Yeah,
Sound good?
yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Glenn, you good? We good with just,
I'm fine, you
check?
you're gonna. put it
Yeah,
on
and
the
then
agenda.
if we wanna make policy that
Yeah,
that
okay.
board members have
Nope.
to use their.
No, I'm good with that.
I think that's a great idea. Last but not least, upcoming tree sale requirements.
Well, I wanted that on early because last week I went in and met with the, district manager of Saugee County, and we talked about a lot of different things. She's new, very great person to talk to, actually. They're doing some really cool things down there at the county. But anyway, she said, yeah, and previous to this, Rory and I sat down at length to go over the tree sale specifics, which, you know, there's a lot of things to deal with here. But Muskogee County said, yeah, in 2 weeks, those notices are out for the catalog. And they do it electronically as well. Right now, is my understanding, and maybe you need to gonna chime in here a little bit, is that Holly has all the addresses on in her computer.
I'm not sure if she does or it's on the one that has the QuickBooks, cause there's some
I can speak to
stuff
this.
there.
Okay.
So, but it's on one of those.
There's two things going on right now on your website. You have a sign-up form if you want to receive tree sale information,
Yeah.
which people are sending on a regular basis.
Okay.
There's stuff that comes in every day. And that is, that gets fed, that information is in a spreadsheet format that can get fed into a mailing list. So it's really a very simple process. So there's no real hoops to jump through to send the information out to the receiver. What's probably important is getting the information together that you wanna send out. But sending it out won't be a problem. And if you need help with that, I can help you with that. Otherwise, I think that Heather would be able to do that really pretty quickly after she comes on
Well,
board.
this is, I guess that's why I got excited about everything, cause when she comes in, this has gotta be like priority one is to get this stuff out.
Yeah,
so
that
we
stuff was already set up, and the website, has an online form that, people can sign up freely, you know, whenever they want. And so people have been signing up for, tree sale information, and that just would get added to the list that already exists.
I'm just, my point was, why I was getting excited is that when she walks in, there's a lot to do, but this is top of the heap. This is the most important thing
We
we do.
talked to her directly right there, to Heather. She watches all our meetings, so.
Hello,
You should, Glenn, just give her a call and, talk this over with her, so.
I think I will.
Yeah, we can meet with that, I mean, I'm happy to assist.
I just, when I walked out of the Misaki office, she said, yeah,
I
get her out.
remember Rory saying like mid-February, so,
No,
okay.
end of January, is
End
what
of
my
January.
notes say.
Well, we'll put you on a computer.
Sooner the better.
You start entering
Right.
data.
Among other
For
things.
the acting district manager.
Just a little more about that, just to let you know, is
Yeah.
we're getting them from 5 nurseries. And there will be a requirement that we go down and get some material from one of the nurseries downstate.
Yep.
So we'll cover all that stuff when Heather gets on board, so. Anyway,
Is that it?
yeah, that's it for me.
Good deal.
Joe, one quick thing on tree sale.
Please.
Did you find the folder I left up above for you?
Yep.
The first 4 or 5 pages pretty much lays it out.
Yeah,
The only thing you're gonna have to do, and I didn't order those, is if you want red maple or sugar maple for sure, because they always have it, but they're the most expensive nursery in the state of Michigan, and that's Coldwater. You have to pay for it immediately.
Coldstream?
Coldstream, sorry.
Okay, good.
And, that's usually where that is. They are right next to it. I told you this before, but I'm
Right,
just
I
reminding you.
understand, no,
They're right next to Raymer's.
yeah,
Well,
Okay.
within 20 miles.
Oh, I remember that.
yeah.
So, just an FYI.
And-
Okay.
And there's a few more, and I've seen mail come in, I think from Bailey's or So there's things coming in. So we should touch base and.
Oh, no, we need to touch
Yeah, we can
base,
go over
and when
there
she
and
comes
maybe
in,
check- yeah, yeah.
we wanna get her familiar with
Okay.
the sellers, all the sellers, so.
We good on tree sales?
Yeah, right now.
Moving on to general public comment. Anybody like to make any public comment?
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
I would like to make. Chris Williams, Fort River Township. First off, the definition of incentive pay requires that whatever you're going to be additionally paid for is in writing, is agreed upon ahead of time, and has stipulations as to how and why you will be paid additional money. That's a definition of incentive pay. What I'm hearing that's being sort of cross-referenced with bonus is a bonus. Bonus is like profit sharing. So to use the word incentive pay from an HR perspective, from a business perspective, there is specific documentation around that. So I would just be careful with your terminology and how you're defining the difference between bonus, incentive pay, and revenue sharing. And then the second thing, and this is just for all the men in the room, women are women, they are not girls. And it's really frustrating to hear men refer to women, especially professional women, as girls. I hope I don't hear it anymore. I'm tired of hearing it. Please choose your words more closely, or more carefully. Thank you.
Anybody else for general public comment?
Thank you for moving ahead on the trailer, wherever it goes.
Yeah, we gotta work
I think
it out.
for all of us.
Yeah,
We'll
for
get it
sure.
taken care of.
I agree with you. It should have made the front page of the paper, but oh well.
Yeah. It was like,
Entertaining.
I hope we didn't add to that.
at least there's nobody being shot, eh? I mean, if they put that on, there can't be anything bigger, eh?
Correct, yeah, we still live in the UP at the end of the day. Thank you. I don't have it on here, but I think you usually have board comments as well.
You do.
It's on there, number 15.
Oh, it is, all right, board member comments. Wanna go right down the line?
I'm good, I have no comment today.
I just wanna bring it to the attention that, Mike and I are going to meet with, Tom Towser and, Howlett? Howard Hewlett, I think his name is.
Howard Howlett,
Hold it.
Yeah, it could be.
former
Uh,
district,
We're gonna,
chair.
we're gonna look at the Gladstone Marsh
Oh, good.
and go over the progress that's been made, the goals and objectives, so we can get up to speed on that. And then, obviously, provide that information to the board and the new district manager. So, but I just took it upon myself to get a meeting set up so we can go over some of this stuff. And Tom is on board with it. He's really been actively involved with that property, so, see what we can do.
I'm really, pleased that we've had Chris Williams helping reorganize or organize our IT thoughts and resolve some of our problems. I really appreciate it. And she helped me with some, reports, our financial, reports. I'm looking forward to being able to work with, Snyder Larson Hopala to have that ability. So, at least for my part of the, board duties, I'm done.
Good, and I'd also like to thank Chris for, making payroll yesterday.
And that too, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
The important stuff.
And it worked out, so,
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thanks for your comments today, for help clarifying some stuff from the past, and that's all I have. And Rachel, of course, always invaluable. I'm glad you were here today.
Thank you.
You provide confidence we need to move forward. Thanks for that. Without any further ado, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Gorski. All
So,
What time are we gonna call this? What time is it?
4:28.
All right, let's make it 4:30, thank you.